So here's the landing page, and so right now it's a static landing page. It's not very smart. Let's make it a little bit smarter to identify whether somebody's logged in and behave differently, hiding and showing different things. Make sense? So here in the login, right? In the home page, the only way that this could become smart, right, and behave one way or another is for it to have a controller, right, to feed it any data. So let's do that. Let's add a controller to this home page. So this might be a controller, and this would be the home controller, and it will refer to the template will refer to the controller as model. Okay, so let's create a controller for the home page. Perhaps we can have since we need a controller along with this template, it's a good idea to put this in a dedicated directory. So we'll put this under home. We'll put the template under there and the controller as well. So let's create a controller for this. So this will be the home dot controller dot client .js. We'll need to update this because we moved it under home, and we'll need to load now the controller for the home page, right, which is under the index page. We'll load it here. So this might be script src, and this will be home. Where is it? Oh, we need to move all these, right? These all moved onto views, no? So let's move all this. And this would be views, home, and then controller under there. There we go. All right. Also notice that we have the user service over here. Where should it live there? This user service should also be under the services directory. So let's fix that too, since we're here already. Let's move the user service. Do some maintenance here. Let's reload. See if this broke. Okay. It looks like it hasn't broken. Let's see if the login page is still active. Okay, the login page still works. And how about profile still works? Yeah, profile still works. So our page, it seems that we were able to move things where they go. All right, so let's go back to our home page. So our home page, notice that it should allow me to navigate to the login, to the register, to the profile page. Let's see, to navigate to the login page, we would go where? We need to go to hashbang login. To the register, right, would be something similar, hashbang register. Profile, we don't really know where to go here, right, because we don't have somebody logged in, right? It would have to go how? It would have to be something like profile / and then the ID of whoever is currently logged in. Yes? But we don't know who's logged in. Ideally, there would be some ID of the currently logged in user, something like current user dot ID, something like that, right? If we knew their ID. But we don't have that. Log out. Logout probably might go to some logout of location, and this admin might go to a page also called admin. Probably this also goes to about. This is the home page, yes. Yeah, we don't have enough information to feed this. Not yet, anyway. Exactly. So that's my point. We're going to add some smarts to this, right, to show or hide these depending on whether you're logged in or not, right? But if they are available, that's where they should go, right? If login is available, then it should navigate to login. Right? Whether it shows or not, we'll do that in a minute. So this would have to go to about. This might have to go to contact. And again, what we're doing is that we are removing the responsibility of knowing where to navigate. We are not giving that responsibility to this page. This page should not know where to go. It should notify somebody, and that somebody has a configuration to know where to navigate. Right? Centralized controller, navigation controller. All right, so if we go back to the home page, if I click on login, it does navigate to login, very good. Register goes to register, very good. Profile navigates to some bogus location, right? We don't have the current user just yet, but it navigates to the right place. It's just that we don't have a right ID. There is no logout, there is no admin, there is no about just yet. It's not mapped to anything, right? But they're placeholders for later. All right? Okay. So how do we deal with login? Right. So what we could do in the login controller, what we could do is somehow store the fact that there is somebody who's logged in, right? And we would like that to be globally available, right? Now, global variables are a bad thing, and they're still bad here. And ideally, what would happen here is that the server would be the safe place to put any information about the current session of who's currently logged in, any session information about the participation of that user with their data. We currently don't have that yet, right? The servers help to keep track of the session, right? So the next best thing is to keep that state information on the client. Right? We don't have the server to remember any of that. So for now, we're going to use the client to remember these things. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use a service called the root scope. Okay? The root scope is like the scope, right? But as I mentioned earlier, scopes could be nested inside of another, right? You could have controllers inside of controllers, views inside of views inside of views. You can have a hierarchy of views, right? And each view could have its own controller. Each controller has its own scope, right? The snippet of HTML that it's responsible for, yes? And one of the problems that we had mentioned earlier, the problem that drove us away from using the scope is that if a variable is not found in the current scope, what the mechanism is to traverse the hierarchy of scopes, looking to see if that variable was declared in higher scopes. Yes, and we went away from that mechanism. We are temporarily borrowing from that mechanism because we don't have the server just yet. Okay, when we get the session, we'll remove this. But for now, this will do. We're going to use the root scope. The root scope is, like the name suggests, the top place that variables can be declared on, right? You can have nested controllers all declaring variables on the scope, right? Passing data to their templates for rendering. And if those variables are not found, it navigates all the way to the root scope, right? It's the top level most place where you can store data where controllers can find things, right? So this is great because across all controllers, right? Anything you declare on the root scope, if it doesn't find it in the current controller, it'll just look for it at the top level root scope. Make sense? Right, so that's where we're going to put our current user. If they're logged in, right before navigating away to the profile page, we're going to store in the root scope the current user, right? We're going to put in there the user we just found when you logged in. Okay, that makes sense. All right. So now let's try it now, right? Let's go back and we log in. If we log in as Bob and Bob, there we are. We are back in the profile. It navigates to the right place. Now, if I go back to the home page, to the root, right, and I hover over my profile, it looks like it's still not working. Wait, what? I still have current user. So it looks like my controller's not working. Did I register it? Oh, I never created it. Right, I never created the controller. I created the home page. I declared it in my config saying that there is a home controller, but I never actually created it. Did I create it? No. Here's home controller, and it's empty. Okay, good. It's good that it's not working. Let's create our little controller here, function. And here's our home controller. Let's see, we need Angular. And there's our module. And the module is web app. What is it? Oh, WAM app, like that. And let's declare our controller here. And this is a home controller implemented in a function of the same name. And this will have what all controllers have, right? We have this. We'll have a function init and calls init. All right, and then we need to load it in our index. Did we load it? We did. Okay, so let's reload that. Let's see if we have any errors first of all. No errors. Good. Let's put this down. If I hover over login, if I go to profile, notice that it says /profile, but notice that it doesn't append anything. See that? It's just saying that I don't have a current user, right? And I don't have an ID for you. So it makes sense that there's nothing after that profile. Before we were getting those funny characters, right? But that was because there was no profile declared on this. There was no controller declared on this template. All right, so let's try again. Let's log in. Let's log in as Bob. And all right, and now let's try navigating back to our home page. Now in my home page, if I notice that now if I hover over the profile, notice that it's saying profile 234, right? If I click on it, it navigates me to the correct profile. Right? That's good. So that's working. That's working. If I go back, now I can look at this and since I have a controller and since I have the currently logged in user stored in this kind of pseudo global variable, I can start now putting some logic around those URLs, right? Those links up here. We could say that if we go to the home page, where is it? We can say that if there's somebody already logged in, then I don't want to show the login button, right? So I could say only show this if there is no current user. Right, then show it. Right? Let's see if we refresh. Okay, logging is there. Let me log in as Bob. If I go back to my home page, notice that the login page is no longer there. The login link is no longer there. See that? Because I am currently logged in. Make sense? Right? Same thing for the register page. I can say that don't show this login page, right, if there's somebody already logged in. How about the profile page? The profile page is kind of the opposite, right? If there is a current user, then show this link, right? Otherwise, don't show it, right? Logout, same thing. If there is a current user, then show the logout. Okay. How about admin? Well, in admin, we can say something like, only show this if what? Well, we could say maybe if current user is admin, maybe, or some flag that says that this user is an admin. Okay. Then it shows the admin page. Make sense? Right. So to try that out with the admin page, we could add perhaps as part of the data model, maybe another attribute. We might say that Alice is an admin, something like, is admin true. So there's Alice, but no one else is an admin. Right? So if I refresh, notice that I haven't logged in yet. So I notice that I have the login link, but not in the register link. But I don't have the logout and I don't have the profile. So if I log in as Alice, and I log in, if I go back to the home page, notice that I have the profile link, I have the logout, and I have the admin link because Alice is an admin. Make sense? So certainly you can add all sorts of really interesting content that will show or not show depending on the user's role, whether they're logged in or not. If you know who they are, you can have different portions of the content to display. You might have display certain content if you're logged in, or some other content if you're not logged in. Make sense? Right? And that's certainly, you should do that in the project. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So the next thing, let's keep working on the widgets, since there were a couple of issues, a couple of topics that we need to cover for being able to include content, reuse content. All right. So let's do that next.